Hi, and welcome to Your Future, Your Finances. I'm your host, Brian Kuhn. We got a great show for you today. In this first segment, we're going to talk about running a website as a business model with today's internet and the ability to run websites and actually generate revenue. We got a great guest for you, Tony Lombardi of Russell Street Report. Welcome to the show, Tony.
Pleasure being here. Thanks for having me.
All right. So tell us a little about yourself and the site.
Well, I got into the internet business kind of like stumbled into it. I used to work for commercial finance companies, and I would go to, my call was to VPs of finance, controllers, and people like that to try to structure financing for essential use equipment for those guys. And in 1 year, I worked for Boeing Capital, and after 9/11, Boeing couldn't take on any more debt for a while because the Wall Street rating agencies said you can't do that. Well, we actually leveraged debt to create a profit. So our shop was closed for a little while, so I thought I could either take this time to improve my golf game, or I could do something else. And my something else was to start a website. And we started as Ravens 24/7, and it's grown from there. That was 13 years ago.
Fantastic. Yeah, you just had the anniversary.
Yes, and then one day I decided, okay, I'm tired of commercial finance. I'm going to try to do this for a living.
And this is about the Ravens, and then you have about the Orioles as well.
Yes, it started as Ravens 24/7, and for years people asked me, why don't you do an Orioles site? And I said, I don't want to do it until I think I can do it well. And it took 10 years before I thought I could do it well, and now we are. Utah Street Report.
Yeah, Utah Street Report and then Russell Street Report. So what is it like running a site as a business model?
Well, the first thing you have to do is draw eyeballs. You have to provide content that people find interesting, and as social media has grown and evolved, you have to find content that's shareable or people that want to share it. So that's part of it. And then it's just like a TV show, or primetime television or a sporting event on TV. The more eyeballs they can generate, the more you can demand or expect in terms of advertising sales. And that's really what I am. Although I love football, I love the Ravens, I love baseball and the Orioles, really what I am is in the advertising business.
And you have writers. How do you maintain the writers for the site?
It's a really interesting question, and I can't say there's an agenda or a set approach for each one. But generally what we have are guys that are fans first. That's kind of our model. We don't want to be mainstream media. We want to be something a little bit different. Maybe when the Ravens lose, we really feel that hurt, and we want our readers to know that. Same thing when the Ravens win or the Orioles win. We want everybody to know how happy we are about that. And so we have a bunch of guys that are fans first, and they just happen to be able to write too. Most of them are employed. We have like a guy who's an actuary, someone who is an attorney, someone who runs a dog sitting business on the side. So we have all walks of life, but they all share a common passion with me, and that is about the Ravens and the Orioles. And so those guys do a really great job, and that's a better cost-effective model too, because these guys aren't expecting anything more than just a stipend here and there, and it works out well because everybody's happy. And we do things as a group, crab feast, boating outings, and things like that, so it's a lot of fun.
A lot of local writers.
Absolutely.
Yep. So getting back, you said advertising. So you have the eyeballs on the site. For anybody who's watching who's thinking about starting a site to try to make a living, how do you actually get advertising dollars?
Well, you do that in a number of ways. You can use social media to attract people. You can call on businesses directly, which I've done my whole life as a career salesperson. And really what you're trying to do is become part of the mix in their advertising mix, in their marketing mix. And one of the things that we do is we try to go in and say, well, if you're advertising on radio or you're advertising on TV, here's a way of trying to help in your mix to improve the investment in those models or those pieces or venues. And with that, let's say, for instance, that you're advertising on radio. And I don't know about you, but more times than not, when I'm listening to the radio, I'm in my car. And maybe there's a commercial that comes on that attracted your attention, but as you drive and get through traffic, you forget about it. But if that same audience, that 25 to 52, let's say, on sports talk radio, and they're coming to our site, if they happen to hear something that was attractive to them, and then they saw it when they visited our site, then investment in us actually improves their investment in radio as well.
And then, as I understand it, there are other ways where they actually find the businesses, so to speak, for you, like a Google or that's tied in with other, like they put the ads on your site for you, is that right?
There are ad networks that you can do that. Most of our business is direct. We go directly with our clients, and we've been fortunate enough to have, over the 13 years, some really loyal clients that have been with us the whole time. So that's really, yeah, it's great. But for the most part, we have a lot of inventory because there's a lot of pages on the site, there's a lot of content, and as a result, that inventory is filled up. We can't fill it directly. We fill it up with ad networks like Google Ads and Sovereign and local yokel places like that.
Do you think that type of advertising from a business standpoint is better than radio or print, or how is it different?
The difference is that we start to really invest our time and energies in our direct clients. The ad networks, they do it themselves. We basically give them a piece of our site and they run automatically on our site. But with our local direct clients, we do things on social media for them. We do things that go over and beyond the call of duty. If they've committed, let's say, 100,000 impressions for us or to us in a given month, we might deliver 150,000 and never look back, and that's why we've been able to keep that loyalty with our clients.
So that's 150,000 people reading all of the articles collected?
Well, that's 150,000 times your ad has been presented to our audience.
Okay. On the screen that an article that somebody is reading.
Right. And the other thing about digital advertising is that it's more measurable than radio and TV. And you can also click on the ads that take them directly to the landing page of the client's choice, and then they learn a whole lot more than they can in a 30-second ad.
So you're actually competing with maybe like an ESPN or like the larger audience, the larger networks. How do you do that?
Well, that's why most of our business is local. We have some other, like Toyota, for instance, is a big client of ours, and they've been with us for a number of years. And they just like the exposure on a local level. They're a Mid-Atlantic Toyota, buy a Toyota. So they come to us. But the local people, ESPN, they would get gobbled up. It's much like if you went to the local cable companies and they drill down and they just show your ad in a certain county or a certain zip code, so that we can do that with the web as well. And in doing that, it gives the people, they don't want to advertise their business if it's a local pub, let's say, and 3 counties over when no one's going to come there. They want to drill down in the local area. So all that type of advertising is available through us, and it helps the client maximize their spending with us.
Do you have to have a lot of knowledge of websites and technical, like coding knowledge?
If I did, I'd be screwed. Because, I know enough to be dangerous, but we have our own web company. D3 is our web company, and they've been a partner of ours for I'm going to say 11 years. And they've been really good asset and ally for us. So yeah, I lean on that. I have the ideas, and I present the ideas to them. Half the time they come back and tell me I'm crazy, but you don't know unless you try, right?
Yeah, right. So there's people you can hire to help with that part.
Right.
We got to take a break. We'll be right back with Tony Lombardi of Russell Street Report and Utah Street Report. Thanks for watching. We'll take a break.